Montreal is really well.
We love Montreal and
yeah.
really have been wandering around just enjoying like the really amazing people and beautiful architecture here. I went to a vintage store this morning. Killer. The one in old Montreal and it has Michael Jackson on the top. You know that one? Oh, it's so amazing and amazing food and yeah, we love it here.
Yeah. And we're staying a little outside of the festival in an Airbnb, and it's just it's gorgeous too. It's actually the Airbnb. It's quite strange because it actually is like a strange mirror for our home back in Victoria, BC, and so. And we've had it's like a good enough size that when people come there, they're like, oh yeah, this is kind of like your place back in Victoria, and everybody feels very comfortable just to come and hang out. And so we have this quite a large group of people sort of in and out of the place all the time, and it's been really nice actually. It's very homey. So yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, I bet it's very different as well from.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Victoria is, it's a much smaller city, and it's sort of a different deal.
Yeah, I think
So,
for like almost 10 years ago, I went there for like a soccer tournament.
oh, really?
Yeah, but I was like, I loved it. I was like, I want to move here.
Yeah,
Really?
The same thing.
yeah.
We have to trade maybe.
Because we come out here and we're like, we want to live here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, maybe
because,
that's right.
well, it was interesting because, not to totally derail things at the beginning, but there was a panel yesterday about, doing production in smaller locations, and Victoria very much qualifies. You'd think it, because of its proximity to Vancouver, that it's sort of part of the production machine of Vancouver, but really we're not. Like it's not there. Like we do some. There are some. Movies of the week, TV movies, Christmas movies, Hallmark movies, that kind of stuff. But as far as like a scene, a place where we're definitely not a production hub, which makes for unique situation for filmmaking and unique challenges as well. So we'll get into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think that because Vancouver is pretty close, the like production will be bigger in Victoria, but
It's far enough away and there's a body of water between us,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
And the ferries are expensive now. To go there and back is $300. So it's like, it's a lot. Yeah.
It's like
So it really isolates people more now, which in some ways I think makes it maybe even more of a reason to have like a small community. And I think it just made our film awesome because we all became a family while we were shooting. And I know that you guys were part of our amazing world premiere and our wrap party and got to witness all of the people that loved the film, that really wanted to see their contribution and their hard work on the big screen in Fantasia. So yeah, it was quite a party.
Yes, I know you came to Fantasia a couple years ago with the short film, which I really love, by the way. I watched it this week.
Thank you.
And I'm just like fully obsessed with Lucid, by the way.
Yes.
I haven't stopped thinking about it.
I'm
since-
so
since
happy.
Monday. Yeah. So I wanted to know, how does it feel to come back with Lucid as a feature film this year?
Oh, well, it was something that we were dreaming of as a place to exhibit the film. The entire time that we were filming, we were imagining it for Fantasia, and even in places when Caitlin Akin-Taylor, who plays Mia, at some points in the film she breaks the fourth wall and clocks camera. In those cases, we were always talking to the audience at Fantasia, to girls like you guys and female identifying people that are messy artists that are like Mia. Like this is where we thought we would find our people, and we have. This is where our audience is.
The response has been amazing.
It's been amazing.
That's very nice. Also, I think you guys have a very strong artistic vision, and I think you're really committed to it, which I think is really amazing. So I wanted to know, how did you approach the film from beginning to end?
Well, it's quite the process. I mean, I guess there's several stages and different stages of things like music and and the visuals and the acting, and each things of those are quite different. So maybe I'll speak to performance and how we started, and Ramsey can tell you about maybe how we landed on the look of the film. For
maybe starting with music. I don't know.
well,
What kind of-
yeah,
what's
I
the
mean,
way-
really, the film was inspired very much by music. And when we were developing from the short to the feature film, the first thing we had to do was establish more dynamic characters. So characters had to be more complicated so that they could go longer in a story. So we turned to the mother first because the mother character wasn't developed enough in the short. So we created a backstory for Mia's parents that they are in a folk rock band from Saskatoon called Sweetbird. And Mia's life has been with this traveling rock band that's sort of falling apart. And her mother's really intense emotional kind of meltdowns that she has in it, and that we cast Amber Dandelion, who plays Solange. And Amber is a psychic medium. She had never been an actor before. This is her first time, yeah. So when we met Amber, and we knew she's a singer and she is a psychic, and so we thought, wow, she's so amazing, and maybe we should test to see what it would be like for her if she could perform as an actor. And we did a test, screen test with her, and asked her to silence a child just with her eyes, silently silence a child with her eyes. And she just sort of snapped her head really hard and looked at this child, and we were like, got goosebumps, because she had this amazing ability to go into her shadow side. That was really beautiful. So that kicked off that part of the storyline for us, and we shot all the flashback sequences first, and then started building Mia's character. So knowing what her background was, Caitlin, our actress, moved into our house with us and lived with us for 4 months while we 5 months while we filmed the movie. Yeah. So that gave us also a lot of really amazing opportunities where Caitlin started to help us with some of the production design elements of the movie. So we built the bedroom set for Caitlin's character Mia in our house. So that whole room does not exist anymore. We had to take it down. The city that we live in, they thought it was an illegal suite. So they made us take it down. But we had made it with street finds, with windows, couch that we pulled off the side of the toilet, we pulled off the side of the road. And Caitlin painted all the walls. And while she did that, she was using her wardrobe. So the wardrobe got all painted, and her hands and everything. And this led to Mia sort of making and creating. And Caitlin, as an artist herself, was able to contribute so well with her amazing work, as she can do charcoal drawings and an amazing, visual artist. So she contributed to the film in such a massive way in the design part, and that fed her creatively as a character to go in that way. So we rehearsed with the actors quite a bit because we shot on film. And when you shoot on film, you have to be kind of ready to bang off that, hopefully our plan was 1 or 2 takes was all we were going to do. And to get there, we'd have many, many rehearsals for certain scenes that were important, especially the scenes between Mia and her grandmother, where we discovered lots of more interesting dialogue for them. And also John Luna, who played the art teacher, Mia and Caitlin and John would have rehearsals for that. So we just dug in really deep for character development and tried to let the actors bring their own really interesting, unique personality to the role. So taking the role and just kind of turning up the volume on the amazing qualities of these already really dynamic performers. So I'll let you speak to the film. And
yeah, so we shot not entirely, but we did shoot a fair bit of film on this Lucid, and we were, as Deanna mentioned, we were very excited to shoot on film. Because it's beautiful and amazing, and we wanted, particularly when we shot the flashback scenes, we wanted it to feel like a memory. Like we wanted it to feel like a sort of family album, a kind of scrapbook where they could look back on the parents, and you look back and you see your, at least for us, we see these ancient world where people were shooting family albums, and it was all on film. And so we wanted it to have that sort of feeling of like a memory. And the best way to do that, the shorthand to do that, is with film. So we shot on film, but we also shot, when we shot all the flashback scenes on 35 millimeter, and then we also shot, for the 90s stuff, we shot on 35 as well, but then we also mixed it up with some of these other formats like 16 millimeter and Super 8. The Super 8 stuff we shot in particular, the Super 8 camera was operated by Joe Gaffney, who is Deanna's daughter, while she was actually performing in the film. So it's sort of like a film within a film, and so it's like we're actually seeing what she's shooting, we're actually also seeing. And so it was a surprise, in a sense, for us to get that material, because we didn't actually know what she was shooting at the time. And in addition to that, we also had Leslie Marshall, Les 666, who plays the character of the performance artist Titania, who's sort of terrorizing Mia, and she was shooting on a high 8, on a vintage high 8 camera from the 90s that kind of gives that kind of beautiful analog, slightly VHS feel to it. So we thought that all of that would impart this very, we love grain, we love texture, and we thought for a character who is an artist, this was sort of like the perfect visual component of this film. So.
Actually, yeah, I'm sure like a couple of questions.
Yes.
Like we're such a big fans of the film and like film media, like it's slightly coming back. And like I was talking about that I just got a Super 8. I haven't tested yet.
Amazing.
But like when I saw the movie, I was like, oh yeah, I just gotta do it.
You
I
gotta
just
do
gotta
it.
shoot it. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if like, because it's film and you cannot actually see it on real time, did you run like any complications? Like
We didn't lose anything.
No, it was. I will say this. I think I may have said this elsewhere, but it's shooting on film is a very interesting. Yes, it's an interesting process because you shoot and you don't really know what you're getting. On the other hand, and I'm quoting somebody as I say this, and I don't know who said it, but when you shoot on film, it's not if it's going to be awesome. It's how awesome is it going to actually be, in the sense that it's just going to look amazing because it just imparts this. It has a sort of veil, like it's sort of a more painterly vision of the world, whereas digital cameras now are so incredibly crystal clear, and there's no imperfections, and this is a movie about imperfections and messiness. So the thing for us is that if anything goes wrong with the film, we had to make a point of just embracing whatever it was. But the thing is, with film, if something does go wrong, it's still cool. It's still a really, really interesting thing. The complication for us is that when we were shooting on Vancouver Island, we would have to ship to here in Montreal to Mel's. Thank you, Mel's. Shout out to Mel's for helping us as being one of 2 labs that exist in Canada still. And then we didn't scan with Mel's. We actually had a relationship with a guy who lives on one of the islands off of Vancouver Island that you have to take 2 ferries to get to. So to have the film scanned, you have to go to an island off an island off an island, and drive halfway up Vancouver, like a 5-hour drive up Vancouver Island, take these, it's completely crazy.
It's fun.
But it's fun, and so we went and we stayed we had a Airbnb in a treehouse, like this really sort of sophisticated. So we stayed in this treehouse and we were scanning all our film, and then it's the rush of excitement when you actually get to see the film for the first time, which is this totally magical experience. Which digital is an instantaneous gratification. There's not really, there are surprises, but the surprise of film, it's also the fact that you kind of have forgotten what you were actually shooting. And then the thing that we loved for the sake of this film too was that when you shoot on film, you get these rollouts at the beginning and the end where you get these flash frames and artifacts, and when the camera slows down and the camera speeds up, you get all these like amazing light effects from the camera running at a different speed before it kind of comes up to proper speed. So, and something like a Super 8 camera, you get a lot of that. There's all kinds of weird noise and junk, and like it's, but all that stuff, we wanted to use that, and so we ended up using like almost every frame we shot, we ended up using, because it just has that magical kind of tactile quality to it.
Well, yeah, I think it really blended with the movie because like the movie felt very magical. So I guess like the film also brings that. So just blending and just like made it perfect.
Oh, it's awesome.
It was cool. There was a really magical little section in some of the film that we had that was like an emulsion had worn off or something, but it came out like sort of, I'm not sure why it looked like that, but it was like there's like a red kind of fluid,
like a
deep red, and it had these sort of specks on it that looked like flowers. And that was a gift from the film gods. And we took that piece of red kind of layer, and it looks sort of almost like jello or something, like really thick and red, mucusy. That's what it looked like. And then we just layered that over a lot of the dream stuff to get extra punch of color when we wanted it. And I was obsessed with this really interesting layer, but it's one of those magical things that film gives you that you can't plan for, and it just depends on light and the chemistry and what happens. So yeah, it was really wonderful to be able to use that, and a privilege for us because we happen to have a film camera collection that Ramsey had started years ago when people were giving up on film cameras and using digital, and everyone was just getting rid of them really cheap. He picked up a bunch of cameras back then that is benefiting us now because, again, everyone is shooting on film, so the film cameras are expensive.
Have all gone back up again,
yeah. So I think we're really lucky that we were able to, because our low budget punk rock movie, like how would we be able to do that otherwise? So.
Yeah. We laugh when we're like, yeah, we're really low budget and we shot on 35, which is usually not the case. But we had collected a lot of old film stock as well. That film, if it's properly stored, it does, over time it begins to expire. But we were very lucky in that it all worked out great. And so there were sometimes you get these older films and you actually don't know how they were stored or how old they are, but film gods smiled on us, and it all worked out. It all worked out great. And then our dear friend Doug, who's an island off an island, gave us wonderful rate on scanning all this stuff, and so it really made it possible. And in a way, it sort of simplified production because we end up with less takes. We can commit to the choice that we make during production rather than shooting 10 or 12 takes and then having to figure out where we're going to go in post-production.
I was wondering, how is it like to direct a movie like as a team of two, and how do you guys complete each other?
Well, I guess we do divide. I mean, we chime in on everything together. We plan our shots together and storyboard together, and I guess creatively, like we work really well with each other because we tend to, our aesthetic is very similar, and we, Ramsey and I met working on a film, and when we like to go out and do things together, it's usually with a camera. So we're shooting stuff for fun all the time and creating a film library for ourselves of things to pull from, which I totally recommend. If you never wait to have to shoot a movie, like if you don't know, you don't have to know what the images are for. When you're collecting them, just keep them. You're a filmmaker, you make your own library. So when you go to one day make a movie, you can pull from these images that you have. And some of the actors that we know that are in the movie, like Bobby Cleveland, who plays Papa in the movie, we've been shooting stuff with Bobby for years and years, and we used all of it in the film. So, for fun, we would bring Bobby over and light something on fire behind him, and in the backyard, just Bobby and Ramsey and I, and we were playful with each other. I think that's our secret sauce. If we were children and 12 years old, we'd be in a lot of trouble playing together, blowing stuff up. I think that's our secret.
I think that's the secret. I think we've, as adults, I think we've discovered that this to preserve this sense of play is kind of we typically don't disagree about stuff. I mean, every now and again we'll be like, well, I like it this way and you like it that way, and then we'll do it both ways. And then usually Deanna's right, but but I we just to keep the exploration going, we'll defer to each other in the sense. But actually, it's when we even early on when we first started working together, it was our dear friend and our great camera operator said to us, I think you two share the same brain. And from that point on, we're like, yeah, I think that actually might be true. And so kind of we've maintained this kind of common collective consciousness for as long as we've been working together.
Yeah, and when we're on set, we divide our responsibilities. Ramsey's usually with camera, and I'm with actors, and then we just come together on it when we're actually ready to shoot the scene. So in prep, that's sort of how we separate things, and yeah.
So you guys can answer another question that it was like, if you inspire from like another like type of art, like music or books, or like more movies.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of mentioned that the music had to do a lot. I'm a musician myself, so I'm a drummer. So I love the way how you approach all of like music, the scenes with the band, and all of that. Maybe like want to like talk a little bit more how like you approach just like the music, blending it with the film.
Yes, my best friend's an amazing musician, and her name's Marta Jakubik McKeever. She's our composer, and she did all of the music supervision. She's been in bands for years, and she's in a really cool band called Fantasia. People might know her from that. But she was with us from the very beginning before we started, I think, even writing. And we had some music that we wanted to use as inspiration. But then once we finished the film, and
we'd work with her on the short too.
Yeah, and once we finished the film and she was ready to score it, she got hit with some terrible news, and she was diagnosed with cancer. So she got stage 4 cancer, ovarian cancer, and was told she maybe had 3 months to a year to live. And so we all just were devastated, and it was so upsetting and scary. And Marta went into hospital immediately, and Dan, I'm gonna cry talking about it. It's so emotional. Dan, our sound guy, brought a keyboard to the hospital for Marta so that she wouldn't go crazy when she was there in the hospital doing nothing but hooked up to basically IV and a lot of invasive tests, and just to get her mind off of everything, he brought her this keyboard. And she scored the movie in the hospital. A lot of the music you hear in the hospital was done when Marta didn't remember some of the songs that she did. She had some of them. She was working out stems that we recorded more of later, but for the most part, a lot of that stuff that's in the film and the ambient music is music that Marta recorded in hospital, to the point where when we were doing our telefilm papers, we had to say where that music was recorded, and we told them it was in the Royal Jubilee Hospital in Victoria. So, but she's okay, and she actually got a complete miracle. She started an experimental drug and she's in remission now. So she's okay, and we're planning on doing another film with her. And yeah, but it was just a terrible journey going through that because it was so, so scary. And but I think she did a magnificent job on really matching the emotional journey that Mia had and really driving this film. The music is everything because it's partly like if some parts of it we play the full song, almost like a music video feel. And she brought in artists like that were friends of hers. So we have the Dish Rags, which are a legendary punk band. They were the first all-female punk band in North America. They were 14 years old when they got a call from The Clash, and they went and opened for them and the Ramones. And then their whole band was kind of over by the time they were 18 or 19 years old, but they still had their music. So we have two Dish Rags songs in our film, and lots of great local bands, Hush Hush Noise, K-Car. We've got Dielectric. Dielectric is like our production designer, Leslie, and our sound recordist, Dan Taggart Hodge. Those guys have an incredible band, and we have two tunes of theirs in our film, and one of them they're singing live in the show. And then we had the Bar Tarantula stuff with, I don't know if you want to tell that story about the kids on stage.
Yeah, so when we shot the Bar Tarantula scene, that was Marta had showed up for that, and they were playing live, and it was funny because Marta was in the back, and she insisted truly, and she was totally right. She's like, we could dub it, we could make it this, sort of like there was just like a reenactment of the song, and we're like, no, we have to do this for real. Mm-hmm. So we just shot it for real. And so the crowd that's there and the crowd sounds and everything, all of that was just like it was a live performance. So it was, so it was really fun. It's exactly the thing that they tell you not to do, that you should all do it in post. And but in fact, for the spirit of this film, it just felt like it would be crazy to try to actually like kind of recreate this. And so it was Elaine Thrash and Ayla Tesler-Mabe, who are goth girls who are part of this, singing the song Karmic Mirror. And Elaine Thrash sings in like a crazy death metal band, and so she was rocking out. And Ayla Tesler-Mabe, who was playing bass, which is, again, that was all live bass, she's like a guitar legend. She's a person that can play like Jimi Hendrix, and she has like this huge following, and you look her up on YouTube and she has 7 million views on the stuff because she can play anything. Mm-hmm. She can play like any absolutely the most legendary classic rock guitar solo. She can do any of it. Like she's like a guitar genius. So.
Do you have any plans for what you want to do next?
Yeah, we found this incredible group of artists. And they've definitely inspired us, and we're thinking about something in the world of where we live is like the epicenter of the satanic panic in Victoria, BC. So we do something in late 80s with satanic panic that has like a cult aspect. So we're kind of leaning towards that. So it'll be like Midsummer meets like Mandy, but wet and full of wasps. So that's where we're going. Yeah, me too. But the movie would probably be called Lucky at this point, is what we're kind of thinking. Yeah. Yeah.
So for the last thing,
mm-hmm.
I know it's gonna sound a little cliche.
Okay.
But, do you have any advice for any future beginning filmmakers like ourselves? Like we've been wanting to do a short film for so long, but we're always like, yeah, maybe one of these, and then it's like, you know what, we should just do it and go for it. But but do you have like any advice? Because sometimes you don't know where to start, and you feel like you don't have what it takes to do it, but you actually have. Any piece of advice that...
I would say, you're never gonna feel totally ready. you don't like you'll never have that moment where you're like, okay, everything's done, we're ready to go, perfect, and then you're not going to roll into the movie and everything is going to be as you planned. And when you feel crazy when you get into filming because things are falling apart, you have to constantly problem solve, remember that's how it goes, and that this kind of thing with filmmaking is a problem solving art form. You are supposed to come up against obstacles and embrace them, because if we got everything we wanted, we wouldn't have the film we have now. And it was the conflicts that actually helped us. It was the really difficult moments of like, how are we going to cast this person? How are we going to make a hair monster on Vancouver Island? You know, and then we had to come to this drag arts amazing artist, Vivian Vanderpuss, to help us do it, because we didn't know how to do. We had no creature shop, but these are the things that made us unique, is to push into the places that we had to come up with an original creative solution for. So that's my thing is like, don't worry, the problems are good and nobody's gonna come save you. You just have to come and do it and work through the problems and grab a friend. Like if you guys can do it together, having a friend makes it much easier.
Yeah, I would definitely say that having a friend, having and small, it only needs to be a small community of people. But if those people share this common goal, it makes all the difference. It's very hard to do alone. You know, it's hard enough to do in a group, but it's very, very hard to do it alone. So find your people who are you know, are of like mind, who can rally around an idea, and make it playful. Like there's a sense that you want to get into something, you think, this has to be important, I have to be able to do this, or I have to be able to do that. You can be very, very playful as you get into these things. And I think to maintain that sense of play throughout is absolutely vital, because otherwise, when you start worrying about things, and then when you start worrying about things, then things start to get very constrained, and you start worrying about it becomes problems. I mean, it literally, we did this movie. A lot of people, you know, after the fact, people said, well, you can't just go make a movie. We were literally told that on a number of occasions. You can't just go make a movie.
You totally
and you can. You can just go make a movie, and then you can beg for forgiveness, you know, and then you figure it out from there, because you just can't wait for permission. It's hard. I won't sugarcoat it. These things, it's very hard. We had some tough nights. We had a running joke that sometimes we would wake up in the middle of the night like, oh, what are we doing? And then we would point to each other and, whose fault is it? Yours. No, yours. We would go back and forth in jest, of course. But that's the thing is, it's not going to happen unless you try. And if you try, let yourself fail and just keep failing upward. That's all. Like, that's what you got to do. And that's really what the film is about. It's how you have to be able to find these strategies for yourself to overcome these obstacles. And if it's messy, that's okay. And if it's using, the roughest materials or the most limited materials you have around you, that's okay. You just have to keep doing it. So that's our advice.
Yeah, just go for it.
Go for it.
Those are such inspiring advice. Actually,
I can't wait to see the movie you guys make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys will be in special things.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, but thank you very much for coming and talking with us and sharing all these amazing things about the movie.
it's just inspiring to hear you talk about your movie. So it's really nice.
It's really been great meeting you guys. Thank you for this.
Yeah. And just to say this too, this movie is for you guys.
Yeah.
It's always hard to be a young person. It's really hard to be a young person in this world right now. And we really need people who are questioning this
Your art.
terrible system that's falling apart all around us right now. And you guys, you guys just have to keep forging ahead, and you guys have to start making stuff. You guys, we want to hear your voices, and that's the most important thing. So,
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Rebel, do it.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, you guys.